I got that. Yeah, heard them call me conscious. I ain't think about it honestly. My thoughts too deep to process, so I do this all unconsciously. Finally feeling God bless. Got 'em woke up dropping prophecy. Don't take it out of context. Just before, I swear they always sleep. Now they catch the message, yeah. Bet that every song is deep. It's levels in each concept. But I can't just never mono theme. I'm trying to lead this flock for the cause, not the following. People upon a partner, and I wonder why they drawn to me. Once upon a time I thought to follow up a dream. Draw life about these lines, nothing twice about these schemes, and like thrice about these insights. What I write is like a blueprint for you to comprehend life. That's light, I reckon, make you shine. Never dim it down, even if you live surrounded where everybody vision clouded. Remember, staying down ain't quite as good as getting out. It said, remember, staying down ain't quite as, ay. If you believe, yeah. Many doubted it was hard for them to think. Somehow I'm finally getting out of that's it. Usually, yeah, they vision clouded, but as you can see by now, we finally getting out there, writing truth, spreading love. Tell me how you feel about it. Got this music from above, this how I know I'm getting out there, writing truth, spreading love. Tell me how you feel about it. Got this music from above, this how I.
You'll have a million people telling you why the Bible is supposedly the Word of God and that you should follow it word for word. And then you'll have another million claiming that it's a form of mind control and not to believe any of it. Everybody will tell you to beware of this or watch out for that. This is good information, this is bad information. And I just have to wonder, what makes anyone an authority figure enough to say that something is true or false? And why are you denying or accepting anything based on the suggestion of another person? Why aren't you making that decision for yourself? Information is information. There's no such thing as good or bad information. It's all what you do with it. I say let everything be your Bible. Give every piece of information, every person, every event or scenario or situation an honest and open mind. Because then it's your responsibility to respond to it in the way that you choose. Not following the herd, not following convention, it's your responsibility. And that's the point when, no matter how many people tell you you're wrong or right, you're not dependent upon their approval. If we at least question our own actions, question our own thought process, and make a conscious decision to what we feel is right every single day, that's what I believe to be divinity. That's true shamanism. And that, to me, is what it really feels like to be alive.
Welcome back to The Balancing Act. I got my man Ty G from my hometown of Middlesex. As you may have noticed, the last few episodes, been really focused on going back to my roots, talking to people that I grew up with. And I just feel like that's important to never forget where you come from. Ty G, one of the main reasons, I was just telling him, like, one of the main reasons I really wanted to talk to him is I've never met anybody that is more, like, as much of an open book as me. Like, we both put our shit on Facebook, like, we don't care. And I feel like that comes from a place in us that is like, prove me wrong. Like, I want to be proven wrong. I want to be as on point as possible in my life. And I want to, like, discover my purpose and, like, figure out the real shit in life. And I just feel like too many people avoid that. Me and Ty G might not agree on every fucking little detail about the nature of reality because our experiences are different. You know, the way we were brought up, our upbringings are different. Our experiences are different.
Sure.
But we both are real. And that's what I love about you, man. And that's why I'm excited to do this. And so, yeah, first of all, just tell everybody about you, anybody that's listening that might not know you at all. And then also maybe talk a little bit about how we know each other. And then let's get into the real shit.
I'm Tyrell Gresham, Ty G, from Middlesex, born and raised. I've been all around the place, all up and down the East Coast. Never been past the Mississippi, but I've been all different kinds of places. Done all kinds of research, seen a lot of things, been through a lot. It's impacted my life. I known G since I was a kid. Shoot, like since I can remember. Grew up playing baseball with him.
Yeah, coach.
Dad was my
T-ball and shit.
One of my first coaches, like basically my first baseball coach. Got me into the game. Man, shoot. And we've been cool since, man. Here we are. All grown now, man. Everything's real now. In reality now, man.
It's different when you're a kid. You have no idea. You just
everything is real now. Like,
you take things for granted as a kid. You know, that's one. I mean, it's like
we're innocent.
it's the childlike innocence. Yes, it's like beautiful in one way, but in another way, it's, you know, you don't have the awareness of how awesome it is to be a kid when you're a kid. You know, but anyways, yeah, man, known each other, like he said, pretty much our whole lives.
Yeah, whole life.
And we linked up a lot more. I would say that when we became the tightest was like the end of my high school, like during my college years. I would say like 2007 to 2011 range. We've seen each other every now and then since then, but we keep up with each other. And I just, you know, as you already know, I appreciate just your openness, man. Even when we disagree on things, it's like, man, this man, there's nothing to hide. There's no, like, even if there is something to hide, it's gonna come to the light. He knows it's gonna come to the light anyway. So
you just gotta get to know me.
It's you're an interesting cat. That's another reason why I want to talk. So let's just get into the interesting shit, man. Let's talk about reality, because I know you're a strong believer in God. I am a strong believer in what I call God, and I think a more accurate word for what I believe is love. But at the same time, like, we need to get into that because, okay, if love is God and God is real, then how come all this evil shit happens in the world? And I do think it's important. It's just an important subject in general, to talk about the nature of reality, God, love, truth. And these are all topics that I know you like to talk about. So when I say God, what I mean is reality itself. Everything that we experience, everything that we imagine, everything that we think, everything that we believe, everything is God. Literally everything is God. Even lies are God. They are not as clear of a reflection as God. It's like smoke and mirrors. You know, lies are like the smoke. And anybody that's telling the truth is like a mirror, like a clean mirror for God, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like natural, and it's really hard to put words on it because it's light too, you know? Like even the word light is as a symbol, a sound that I'm making with my mouth that says light. But when I say it and it hits your ears, you might think of the scientific term of light, not like the true like essence of experience, you know?
Yeah.
And anyways, just based on what I've said so far, how do you see God? Do you see it as the way I see it, or do you see it as, or him or her, as something that created all of this?
I don't see it as everything is God. I see God in everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, more like you got the creator and then you got the creation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's more of a Christian
That's what
worldview on that.
Yeah, because you got God. The God of the Christians are like the God that I believe in. It was like it's infinite, was already here, timeless. You know what I'm saying? Like before the supposed Big Bang, God was already there, and the Creator. You know what I mean? Like everything after the Big Bang.
So that begs the question: is God here now, or did He create this and now He's letting us play it out? Because I think that's more the Christian. But see, then the Christian things is all about grace too, where God will intervene at times, but not all the time. Whereas I would say it's all the time, everywhere. You know, it is reality. It's undeniable to me. That's why I have difficulty with the word God in some ways, because to me, it's undeniable. And when people set it up as something that can be denied, that automatically makes it deniable. But for me, it's like it is what everyone is experiencing. Even what atheists experience, that is God to me.
Yeah. I feel you. I know what you mean by that. Yeah. You're right. It is.
So like when you set it up as
God is in everything. That's to me like
yeah. So when you set it up as like there could not be a God, like just allowing that possibility, you know, to somebody is like, okay, well there's obviously not a God because evil things exist, you know. Evil people exist. The Catholic Church, like, dog, I have a lot of sympathies for Christianity and a lot of the Christian teachings and morals, and some of the best people I know call themselves Christian. But some of the worst people I know call themselves Christian too.
yeah, exactly. You're right. And that's what makes it look bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all of that is in the Bible.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know how to interpret that. Or they just interpret it totally differently.
You can't interpret the Bible if you don't actually put your heart and soul into going into the Bible, you know?
But then
you
I
can't
think a lot of
understand
people,
God.
I know, like, I just can imagine A-dubs being here right now, but the Bible is like the source of pretty much every bloody war over the last 2,000 years.
Like, even if you put your heart and soul into worshiping the earth, the sea, the land, something that God created, it's still not as good as worshiping the actual creator.
Yeah.
Because you get way more gifts when you worship the actual creator, you know what I mean? Like,
But all right, so I guess my
once you-
thing with that is, and I think you and a lot of people interpret it more at least, you know, maybe not exactly, but at least more like I do. But I feel like the orthodox Christianity, when they say the creator and the created, they're speaking in a way it's like he's above us and not here right now. You know what I mean? And for also the he thing kind of irks me too, because I feel like God is not only a man but a woman. Like the whole gender thing
God isn't a man or a woman.
God is beyond gender. Yeah. You know, it is both genders. It is love itself. You know, it is the dynamic between the masculine and the feminine, and both. You know, and neither. You know, it is everything and nothing to me, and that's why it's hard for me to talk about, because for people that are hardcore atheists or hardcore like science materialists, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I kind of understand where they're coming from, because when religious people talk about God and love, it's like, all right, well, how do you explain the evil then? That's really the hardest part, you know?
Yeah.
It really is. And I explain it as we believe in lies and then we act on those lies.
Man brought evil on themselves.
I see evil.
And
But do you see, all right, so
again,
here's this setup right here. I see good and evil as the result of believing in truth or lies, right? Because animals, right? Everything is perfect in nature. Even humans are perfect, but our ability and our desire almost to separate ourselves from nature and not see ourselves as perfect, I feel like that's what creates evil. We believe ourselves to be evil and separate from nature or God. See, nature is the same thing as God to me, whereas a lot of people who are super focused on God will reject that nature as God notion, where I feel like it's the same thing, really.
I don't think nature I mean, that, like, I just believe nature, like, God is in nature, you know what I mean? Like, that's his creation. Like, that's what he put here for us, you know what I mean? Like, everything that we see.
But do you think that artificial drugs are God?
Man-made drugs?
Yeah.
No, it's man-made. Just like...
But isn't man made by God? So if man made...
Is man made by God?
Like, you know, is a beaver dam...
Nah.
That's made by beavers,
that's like
so
saying,
is a beaver dam
you know
made
what I
by
mean?
God?
Think of it as a baby. When we're born, we don't know where the hell we came from.
No, of course,
You
but
know?
I'm saying, but you're saying
Like,
that because
don't
it's a
know.
man-made drug, it's not godly. But
Nah.
a beaver dam is made by
I believe
beavers.
I
Does
believe
that make a
I
beaver
believe that
dam
God gave
not
like
godly?
the technology to make man-made drugs and even be able to heal people temporary is something that's from heaven. Like it's like something that the fallen angels or aliens.
Right. No, I'm totally on board with where you're going with that.
Whatever, I don't know. Like aliens and angels have so many similarities, man. But that's why I feel like we get all of this technology to do anything from the heavens.
Yeah.
Who created the heavens?
We're opening up a whole new wormhole when we start talking about technology, because so is that of God?
It has to be, man. Like,
in my opinion, all
if you
of
go
it
through
is.
all the ancient civilizations,
Okay. So is there anything that is not God to you?
like
You're basically,
I don't know,
I feel like
man.
what you're trying to say is there's like levels to it. Like everything is of God, but some things are,
Like,
are
yeah, it's like
very separated from God, you know?
there's certain
They still exist as,
there's certain unforgivable sins. You know what I mean? Like,
you think so?
I mean, the Bible talks about sins that are unforgivable. Like, if you add or take from the Bible, like, if you try to take the Bible and change the words in it,
Like basically what Catholicism has done,
change what,
what the popes have done, and pedophilia and all that?
yes,
Yeah.
that's a perfect example. And it's crazy how many people don't know that. It's the biggest Christian denomination.
Did you know that they
in the
just
whole world.
received like a $1.4 billion relief fund due to some coronavirus UN, some global agency relief fund, because of the stress and legal fees that they had to undergo while they were undergoing the pedophilia trials? They basically got paid $1.4 billion for being pedophiles.
And then got away with it.
Immortal Technique posted that shit on Instagram the other day. It's like, who needs Pizzagate when this shit is in the open? It's like reported at AP, USA Today, like, it's out in the open. It's
That's
not
sick.
a conspiracy. The word conspiracy is pissing me off at this point too. Like, you can't see.
And I'm just saying,
Are you not living in reality? Do you not pay money at the gas station, at grocery stores? Like,
bro, all of that is in the Bible.
yeah, but most people don't read it. I haven't read it in full
Because
ever.
people say it's confusing, yo. Like, I used to think it was confusing. But the reason it's confusing is because, like I said, you gotta put your heart and soul into it.
But
you literally have to get a relationship with God.
Yes, I agree 100%. But do you feel like the Bible is necessary?
Yes. It's got the whole history that
you don't think
it's
you
got
can
the
find
whole
God
history
without
of
the
mankind.
Bible? Really?
Yeah. I think I found God without the Bible. I mean,
Okay.
I found God without the Bible. I haven't read the whole Bible. Like, you know what I mean? I don't
Cover to cover
remember verses and stuff like that. Like,
but you just feel like, but what about all the books that were left out of Scripture? What about, see, the Bible today isn't even the real Bible. What about the Gospel of Thomas and all of the Dead Sea Scrolls that they found in 1945 or whatever? In Israel or wherever they were, in Nepal, somewhere out there in the Middle East. They found scriptures, dog, that were left out of the Bible because Emperor Constantine or whoever in 300-something AD said, no, those books are too real pretty much for the masses. You know, that needs to be kept amongst the priestly class. You know, we're the only ones that are keen to this shit. You know? You know so why? That's why I'm saying, that's why I don't even really like the Bible, because to me it's not even really...
Okay, but think about it.
It's edited, it's stomped on, man. It's like fucking some stomped on Coke.
Think about the books that they took out.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? If the Bible wasn't real, why would you go to that level?
Oh no, I feel where you're coming from.
If the Bible is fake,
but I'm saying they left.
Why would they care? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody out here with these.
I'm saying it's incomplete.
Like
not only incomplete, it's been adjusted.
What other fairy tale story have you ever heard of where they go to the extreme to censor it like that,
or to fuck it up, to deceive it, and
exactly, and manipulate people like that? Like,
Yeah, no, I agree.
Bro, there's truth in the Bible. And
There's truth in everything, though. There's truth in life.
Right.
I feel like you don't have, if you
right,
can just,
because God is in everything.
yes.
This is God's creation. We're in Lucifer's
so that's what I'm
world.
saying.
To me, we're in Lucifer's world.
For sure, but do you also agree that the Hindus in Tibet and China and India and the Buddhists out there and the Muslims and the Jews and the Zoroastrians and the tribal people that are still in Africa and the orthodox religions in Europe, they're all in hell too. And except for the ones I just said about Europe, all of those have different scripture. The Torah, the Quran, whatever the Vedic scriptures in Hindu and the Buddhist texts. I'm not too hip on any of them, but my point is, these things are deemed holy, and I feel like what makes them holy is our belief. That's the power, man. That's what Jesus is talking about when he says the faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain. That's just another metaphor, and that's another reason why I'm not super about the Bible, is because unless you really understand how to interpret some of these metaphors, it can be confusing. For people that have been educated in our fucked up education system, the Bible it's all meant to be deceptive, confusing, distracting.
Constantine they made it that way on purpose.
But
that's exactly why they took those pieces to the puzzle.
All right, so then to take this where we're at to the next level, what makes some people like us and some people not care? Or some people just go along with it?
Because that's how if you take something and control, once you control once you can manipulate people like that, manipulate their minds and make them believe a history that's not true, you can make them believe any fucking thing. If they believe a lie, you can make them believe more lies.
Right.
Now we're here where we are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, lost.
Because we're believing lies. If we knew the truth,
right,
we would have been overthrown the government.
So how do we get to the truth?
By spreading the word. That's all. And it clearly says spread the word. But
I agree to an
extent. The thing is, the Bible says very few people. It ain't gonna be a lot of people that's gonna make it to heaven, man. Because of the way that the world is. Most people are gonna end up.
There's a lot there, man. There's a lot there. First, I think heaven is a mind state. It's seen clearly. It's like that. It's to use the Bible, which I'm like kind of being a hypocrite because I'm saying I'm kind of I'm not saying the Bible is not credible or not worthy. To me, let everything be your Bible. Listen to everything, and then it's up to you. It's your responsibility to discern what is a clear reflection of the truth and what is a distorted lie, essentially. And I think that's important to take that responsibility on yourself, because otherwise if you believe somebody else's story, it's kind of giving up what you really are. It's giving your power to them. And then if they're wrong, then you can blame them. But it's really your fault because you used your power to just go along with them. You know what I mean? You didn't actually question. And that's what I'm getting at with, I think the way to discern truth or to spread truth is to tell people to doubt everything. Because if you doubt everything, only the truth stands against doubting everything. If you doubt everything, the lies don't stand a chance against your doubt. It's only when you doubt the truth that you're allowed to believe lies. But if you don't believe anything, truly don't believe the lies too, and just never hold a skeptical mind state to everything, then I feel like only the truth can survive.
Only the truth does survive. That's why the Bible's still here in the first place.
Yeah. But it's still...
if you look at the history of it, the Bible ain't even supposed to be here.
But the trees have been around longer than the Bible. And the cannabis has been around longer than the Bible. And the mountains have been around, and the oceans have been around longer.
What other book explains all of this stuff better than the Bible? When you look at all...
To me, the Four Agreements. And to some people, the Hindu texts, or to some people, whatever. But I don't like maybe I do push the Four Agreements harder than I should, but at the same time, it's like, to me, it's like,
I think that
believe what you
leads
want.
to God.
Right. I agree. It's a way of discerning the truth from the lies.
There's
Exactly what we were just talking
there's
about.
multiple ways to get to God. But I only believe there's one way to get to heaven.
What's the difference?
You
I
gotta
feel like
believe
we're already with
the
God.
only way.
I feel like
The only
even
way
people that believe
a
lies
Christian,
are already with
the-
God. They
the-
just aren't aware of it, and they aren't connected.
Like I believe Jesus died. I believe Jesus was real. I believe Jesus was born of a virgin. I believe.
I don't know. That's one that I just
believe
like. There was a
was a
time where I didn't believe it.
immaculate conception. Like I believe he died and rose on the third day, and I believe he was God in the flesh.
There was a time where I didn't believe it, and I still don't say I believe it, but something happened to where they decided to start counting the calendar. You know, that to me, that's always like, okay, well, something happened because they just started. Why did they just start counting time right then? Like, why is it 2022 right now and not, year zero right now?
On the, I think it's the Gregorian calendar.
And then that's another thing.
Which one do we use?
They'd be fucking with the time. Yeah, Gregorian.
We use the Gregorian.
Mm-hmm.
The Julian calendar.
The one the Romans used was a little different, right?
It was more accurate. They had like 13 months.
But what is accurate too? Because I feel like the Mayans had two. The
according
Mayans
to
used
that
two
old-
calendars.
According to that old calendar, we're in the year 2014.
That's like the Ethiopian one, yeah, right? But the Mayans, they used two different calendars, and that's why it's a circle, because it's like a circle within a circle. It's like the solar and the lunar calendars. Because if you do the solar cycles, there really is 12 months in a year, but if you do the lunar cycles, it's 13 months in a year.
Yeah. The lunar is more accurate.
But so time is cyclical. Do you feel like time is cyclical?
Has to be, man. It's in cycles.
Yeah.
It's going in cycles.
I agree. But that's what another thing that
I think it's accelerated.
that makes me feel like time, the way we measure time is part of the big lie. Like, why are we even measuring it in a linear
That's why
way?
some places don't even have daylight savings time. I just found that out recently because
we stopped it, right? I think we stopped it.
They're trying to stop it.
I think they passed a law where they're not doing it anymore. Like, starting this November, we're not going to go.
That's wild.
We're not going to fall back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, our whole life we believed in daylight savings time, but it was like,
yeah,
it's really not even. It's not across the whole world like I thought it was.
Yep.
It's like, damn, I gotta get out more, man.
What do you think about the way that we're living when you talk about living in hell? That and to just basically go back but frame it from a different angle. We're talking about how all these religions, we're all living in hell on this globe right now. Do you agree with that?
Do I believe this is hell?
Do you believe the earth, that the reality that most people live in on earth right now could be considered hell? At least the mind state, in my opinion. Because of all the lies, like we were talking about, because people believe so many lies, I believe that is what makes hell. I do my best to create my individual heaven, but yeah, I still have to look around and deal with so many people that are living in hell that it brings me,
I think it's
down,
just
down, if you want to even use that word, but you understand where I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, I got you. I think it's just a glimpse of hell.
Yeah.
I think this is all just a glimpse, just like you can get a glimpse of heaven sometimes. There's ways to get a glimpse of heaven sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. I try to stay in heaven. I feel like heaven is a mind state, and it's that mind state where you are aware that God is
exactly. So if your mind state is
or that
happy, joy all the time.
But just to rephrase that for people that maybe aren't so religious, it's like just being aware that life is fucking lit, literally. Like,
it's fire.
Yes, dude. It's like what other purpose is there? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you put into words what we're here to do if there's not something like, maybe the word mystery is even better, because people that are anti-God are usually super scientific, right? And they think like everything's a formula, like everything is cause and effect. We're just part of a big machine, basically.
Yeah.
So they like, I feel like acknowledging mystery is also in emotions too. You notice how like those scientific materialist atheist people, they don't talk about emotion too much.
Yeah, because they,
You need to talk. Okay, word.
no, because
That's what's
they
up.
can't. They're forced to not have emotions or remorse or love. Like,
Acknowledging emotions is like acknowledging that something exists beyond what they acknowledge in their
believing in
beliefs.
something like that is exactly what Lucifer wants somebody to believe in. Like that the devil doesn't exist. That's one of the greatest tricks ever pulled
Yeah.
on man. Like to me, that's just my opinion though. You know what I mean? Like I can, man, it's the Bible explains a story, and then once you realize what that story is,
So
you
there's
can see exactly what is going on. You know what I mean?
there's an interpretation of Adam and Eve that I want to run by you, and you tell me what you think. So I feel like Adam and Eve represents humanity itself. Not necessarily the first man and woman, but it's actually like a metaphor or a simile for humanity itself.
Like a group of, like, like a group of people.
Just humanity, literally, like all of humans, like all of us, as a whole, like our species. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like the Prince of Lies, or the tree of life represents, you know, if you, it is said, you know, to try to, I want to quote the Bible or like be accurate, but I also like have my unique interpretation of it. And it's also with the Toltecs and how they interpret it. It's like Adam and Eve represent all of humanity, and the tree of life represents living in a way where you live with God. Like you're connected to God. You talk to God all the time. You see God in everything. You hear God. Love is basically, you're connected to love. You appreciate life because you appreciate existing, breathing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything. Like they prayed when they ate because like everything about the process of eating is so like awesome and beneficial and like nourishing and everything. Like their whole life was, you know, we call it animism or like tribalism. We have all these like names to try to make it sound primitive, but it was actually way more real than the way that we practice religion or spirituality or whatever, you know? But I feel like the tree of knowledge, which is also called the tree of death, you know, is the Prince of Lies lived there, right? And that's what you're talking about, Lucifer, right?
Yeah.
And so the way I interpret it, or the way the Toltecs interpret it, is like he's the liar that lives in your head. He's the liar that lives in everybody's head it speaks in our language. Chinese person don't have their liar speaks Chinese, you know? And everybody, their liar speaks their native language. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the lie is, the first lie was when he said, you know, God, why would God prevent you from knowledge? You know, God, like he tried to make God out to be bad. Like, why would he try to prevent you from eating this fruit from this tree? This is the most delicious fruit. This is the tree of knowledge. This is, when you eat this, you'll be like God. Boom, that's the trick right there. He said, you'll be like God. Mm-hmm. That was the trick because we're already like God. If we just keep eating from the tree of life, that's living with God. That's just, it's all a metaphor though. You know, it's not as literal as maybe a lot of Christians make that out to be.
Why ain't it?
I feel like it's a metaphor. It's all in our head.
But
it's not a real, like, there wasn't a real garden to me, I feel like. Not in that sense. Maybe there was a real garden of Eden, but I'm saying it was just herbs and fruits and all sorts of stuff that we probably, half of it's probably extinct. Half of the species.
It was probably the whole planet. It could have been the whole planet, dog. But
that's true. That's also very true.
Man, if it was literal, you know what I mean? Which I believe it is. Or it could be, like, if it started with two people.
Well, I feel like every metaphor and simile is, you know, they're using real life experiences to create that metaphor and simile.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, I think it's real, or it could be. And
I think there's real elements to it for sure. But what do you think about that?
Lucifer came in the form of a serpent and fucking.
I think that's just
tricked them into
that's just like a tribal
from the tree of knowledge.
Yeah,
like
the
just
snake
like you just
represents
said,
knowledge.
Right? And
Or wisdom.
Once that happened,
It's like the
once
yin-yang.
they tricked them into something that they already had, everything was perfect, dog. They could walk up to
It
lions.
still is, but we don't see it.
Pet lions. Like, they could just do anything in nature. And after that, it was different.
Yeah, we were divorced. We put off a different frequency. The animals don't trust us no
They
more.
started eating each other and everything. Like, all it just became what it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what other book describes it like that, though? Like,
So do you think we should all be vegan, though?
nah. Nah, we sin. We're not clean anyway. Like,
Right.
So it don't even matter.
Right.
It's just, we know what we should eat and not to eat. That's why you're supposed to pray over your food anyway, but yeah.
Nah, for sure. That's actually, although I eat meat, I feel it's just more important to be grateful.
Exactly. Like,
I'm grateful for candy. I try not to eat candy and soda, but when I do, I'm
I
fucking
don't know anybody in the Bible that was
ridiculously
a vegan.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about. Like I said, I haven't read it closely enough.
Fried chicken in the Bible and everything, man.
They got fried chicken in the Bible.
Yes, man. Everything is in the Bible, man.
I didn't know that.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Everything is in the Bible, man. Yep.
I mean, cell phones. They got cell phones in the Bible.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, actually, it might have stuff pertaining to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the technology.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's verses about like artificial intelligence in the Bible. Man,
Elohim and shit.
becoming one with transhumanism.
Mm-hmm.
Man becoming one with robots.
That's in the Bible?
Yeah. Like, some people interpret certain verses in the Bible like that.
Right. What do you think about
And it's crazy.
transhumanism in general?
It's becoming real, man. Yeah, it's possible. Like, the iRobots movies and those movies and stuff like that. Yeah, I believe it's possible. I believe they got the technology already.
Yeah, for sure.
You already see them with the exoskeletons and stuff. No, if they just showing us that.
But I feel like also isn't just being aware that we're connected to God kind of like being a transhuman too? Isn't that awareness like a superpower in a way?
Being connected, like, with a robot.
No, not that. I'm saying like me and you. Or just people that are just aware that life is like alive and we're a part of that.
Well,
Isn't that awareness a superpower?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make us transhuman kind of in a way?
That's why we have, you know what I'm saying? We're God-like. Not like we have God in us. Everybody has God inside of them. Church, you are the church. You are God's temple. You're not supposed to harm yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not a building. You are God's church. You are God's child. You're supposed to protect it. So,
I like the way you interpret a lot of that, but at the same time, I don't put that level of emphasis on the Bible because I feel like what we're talking about right now is Bible.
well, to me,
Every experience is Bible.
I can literally, like, almost everything that we can talk about, I feel like I can relate it to something that I've seen in the Bible, dog. Like, that's just, and it's crazy that I even know the Bible like that.
Listen, it's the number one selling book over the last 2,000 years.
And I haven't even read the whole Bible, but when I was locked up last year, man, I read 31 books in 3 months.
I think it's important. But I feel like there's so much deception, not necessarily in it, but like
it was
the
used.
energy,
It was used
the way it's been used
for deception,
and like the frequency.
And that's the
behind
thing.
it now,
That's
like
what happened.
Imprinted it with a false
Man,
frequency, false prophets, as it says in it. You know,
people blame God when they should be blaming man
or themselves, just themselves, really.
The people that made it this way, just like the government. You know what I'm saying? The people that made it this way.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't like blame. I mean, I used to.
Because like I said,
I do feel like there's obviously a lot of deception going on in government. Don't get me wrong.
Once you look at the Apocrypha, which is the books that they took out
That's what I'm talking about. The Gospel of Thomas.
You can find them, right?
Right.
Bro, you ever read them? If you ever read any of them, you can see
The
why.
Nag Hammadi Library.
You understand why they took them. They took them out because it would make the Bible make
More
even
legitimate.
more sense.
It would legitimize it for sure.
They took those
I
books
agree.
out.
I actually have them, and
They
maybe
took
I'll
those
start reading
books
them
out
after this talk.
to confuse everybody. Constantine,
Yeah.
all he was doing was mixing paganism with Christianity
Because
So
he was trying to win the people over.
Exactly.
It was a political move.
So he had to take some stuff out and leave some stuff in.
Right.
And make everybody like agree.
Do you think Gnosticism is the true
on
Christianity? I feel like Gnosticism.
That's why Christianity today is pretty much.
Do you know about
paganism.
Gnosticism though? Gnosticism is like the original Christianity. The Gnostic texts, the Gospel of Thomas, that was written by the Gnostics. They were like the mystery school Christians. They were the ones that pretty much, before it was politicized and made, they were the ones when it was Christians, they were rebelling against the Roman Empire and shit like that.
The real ones.
That's how I interpret it. But you know, today, Gnostics are heretical and all this.
Today, everything is different from what it was back then.
Right. Yeah. Ever since the Roman Empire.
You look at the people that's in Israel now compared to the people back then, it's completely different people. You look at the people in Arabia right now compared to the people back then, it's completely different people.
Yep.
If you look at the people from America right now, compared to the people back then that was in America back then, it was completely different people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes deep. Everything goes deep, man.
Yeah.
Like the true history of everything. Like they lied about everything.
Yes.
But
yeah, uncovering that truth is a process for sure.
They lied about everything in this. Like,
do you think there is a story that we'll ever, at least in our lifetime, uncover? Do you think we'll uncover the true story in our lifetime about humanity and our true roots, like where we come from? Like, how did humans even get here? Do you believe that we were? All right, so yeah, that's another topic. Do you believe that we were like, you know, some alien race came down and hybridized us with apes or some shit like that? That's what the popular shit is these days amongst a lot of free thinkers and shit like that. Do you believe that, or like, how did humans even come about?
I mean,
because that kind of
I don't believe what science says.
But I'm saying that's more. That's not
really
science.
I literally only believe what the Bible says when it comes to creation. Like,
but what is the Bible saying? A lot of people are saying that's what the Bible is saying, with the Elohim coming down and
what humanity.
You know,
Adam was made out of dust.
Out of it's just basically
out of the earth.
Yeah. Okay.
Eve was made out of man. I don't know exactly how.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I think that's all metaphors, and it's trying to explain something.
But it's like, what was there
it's
first?
It's coded. I'll give you this.
What was there first?
I think there isn't. I think
the
I
chicken
do
or
think.
The egg.
Right. No, that's a great point. I feel like it's coded.
What happened? Like, how do you answer that?
It's beyond words, man. That's like, part of the mystery. That's part of the paradox.
What? That's crazy. So that's what I'm like. If a chicken can do it, we can do it. You know what I mean? Like, and if we came from Adam and Eve, it would literally start from those two people, and it can never
longer than what they've
never even happen again.
Science, mainstream science tells us.
Like millions and millions of years.
Well, they say that Homo erectus has been around for a couple million years or whatever. But do you think we've been around as an intelligent species that long, or what's your take on that?
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't even know. Like, I really don't know how long humans have been. Like, I don't know enough about it. Like carbon dating. I've done research on carbon dating, but I've never actually done it, so I can't really say it.
Right.
It's wrong or it's not the truth. But from my research, it's not accurate. So I can't really take their word for
Yeah, I mean,
lot of
I know that
things
there's a lot
there.
of flaws with it, like certain organic compounds break down in such a way that it can't really be tested and as accurately
And then in
as
the Bible, I
fossils,
don't
for
know.
instance.
I don't really know how to take that in the Bible. Like, I don't know how to explain what the Bible says about time, because verses like, to God, a day is 1,000 years.
What about giants?
Yeah, it was definitely giants that had we
They found them. There's like newspaper articles from the
skeletons
early 1900s that,
all around here. Like,
yeah,
I was in West Virginia and Ohio, like
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of giant stories out there from the natives, and
Mm.
everybody know about it. um, all around America is
Mythical
giant
creatures in
stories, and
general. What about like Bigfoot and shit like that? You believe any mermaids? You think all of that stuff is possible?
yeah, I think Bigfoot is possible. I think I don't know about mermaids.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
about
don't.
mermaids
Stuff in the ocean seems more possible to me. It seems like the possibilities are more
because
limitless in the ocean because we
I
haven't
mean,
explored so much of it, and we can't. You know, we're so limited in finding half of the shit that's in there. You know.
yeah, people be like, why can't you find or get a Bigfoot on camera? I'm like, man, they smart as hell. Like,
Yeah, you never know. They could be an advanced species. Like we,
they was probably here before we were.
in our mind, we try to think of them as like ape man. Oh, so it's got to be primitive. But like, what if they're advanced? Like, what if they're the
Yeah,
ones
that's
fucking
what we thought about
keeping
the
an eye on
people.
us? You
That's
know?
what we thought about the people building temples and shit that's still standing. They was cavemen with
Yeah, like
chisels
the
and
pyramids and shit. That's just an insane
yeah, just with chisels.
mathematical, like precise.
All they had was chisels and hammers, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's
It seems
crazy.
like they had space lasers to be able to do that, and we can't do that. Supposedly, it's wild.
That's that's wild.
So, what do you think about just the nature of reality in general? Like, right here, right now. How did we get here? How did how does
All right,
existence
man.
how
Like,
does existence exist?
you just want to hear my what
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
believe,
want to hear. Yeah, exactly.
man. What I believe about the world, man. Like, it all started in heaven. Like, God created the heavens and the earth, just like it say in Genesis. He made everything in 6 days and rested on the seventh day. And he made the angels, you know what I mean? And long story short is he made Lucifer. Lucifer was given a lot of attributes. Like, he was the most beautiful angel. He was the leader of the angels. Like, he wasn't the most powerful, but he was the leader of the
God of
angels.
music, right?
Yep, he was the best one at music. He was the leader of music, and what else? Man, he was God's right hand man, pretty much. And then God made humans. You know what I mean? And then God wanted somebody like God knew what man was gonna do. God knew what man was. You know what I'm saying? People like, if God knew what we was gonna do, then why did He let us do it? He just wants to. He had to make a creation that actually loved him. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. Love. He wanted to make something that he didn't control. He didn't want to make something love him. He didn't want to force people to love him. He
Free
wanted the
will.
people to choose to love him and
Free,
actually
freedom.
love him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Through whatever unconditional type love.
Now, one of the people that I would consider a mentor in my life that is, as far as the people that I know, he's one of the most on point, I would just say, articulate, and he's Christian. I mean, he's super Christian, but he also is just, he understands like the philosophical arguments against it and for it, and he's just really nuanced. He's just on point, you know.
Yeah.
And what he would say about what you were just talking about is grace. Grace is how we exist.
Yeah. So
And
that's what I'm talking about. It fits all into that, dog. Like,
and the grace that
he made
to
Jesus,
expand
right?
on that.
He made humans, and he knew
I don't
he
want
knew
to,
man
I
was
don't want
going
to
to
lose
fall.
I don't want to lose this thought. I'm really sorry to
Oh,
interrupt
my
you.
bad.
But
Go ahead.
the grace that to go what you were talking about though, to connect it to that, the grace that he's given us from this Christian point of view. I don't necessarily adhere to this. I'm just saying to put it in his words would be like, you can't be considered a good person if you're not given the choice to do evil.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you're getting at, basically.
You gotta have evil.
You got to have the choice to do evil, because if you're just doing good because you have no choice to do anything but good, then you're not really good. You're like a robot.
You don't even know
Right.
what good was.
But if you have the choice to do evil and you choose to do good, then that's what makes you a good person. This is what his argument. So does that basically match to what you're just saying? As far as God giving us that choice to do evil?
Free will.
Free will, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the most persuasive Christian arguments to me.
That's where Satanism literally came from, dog. Do what thou wilt. It's free will. We don't have to worship you. No, go out here and worship Satan. Or not worship anything. You know what I'm saying? We have that free will. Adam and Eve had their free will. God didn't want them to do it. He told them not to. Not he, but God told them not to.
Believe
God knew what was going to happen because he gave him free will. But then he knew he had to make a savior at the same time. So he made himself in flesh and like his son.
Now that's where I might be a little heretical against the Christian stuff, because I feel like Jesus is in all of us.
And this is where
there might have been one person that provided the example for us to try to be, and that's the whole "What would Jesus do" movement, and that's one of the movements within Christianity that
this is what makes the earth the center of everything to Christians. Like,
I just don't like the savior thing, because it takes your power and it puts it in Jesus. Like, you should be the one being like Jesus. He might be an example for you. To do that.
I feel like I wouldn't.
But it's the complex of like putting your blame on Jesus if something goes wrong. You know, it's like somebody that you can blame if something goes wrong, but it's somebody you can give credit to. No. Right. And so
that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. But when you really get to know Jesus, you don't blame. You don't put it on Jesus. You put it on yourself. God makes you put it on yourself. God's gonna put you through situations that's gonna make you look at yourself in the mirror. It ain't gonna be like, oh, God is not just put your blame on me. No, God's gonna make you look yourself in the mirror, dog.
Isn't that life? Like, even people who don't see it that way, like, life is gonna make you look at yourself in the mirror, regardless of whether you believe in God or not.
Only some people see it. Only some people get it. So you can put the truth right in some people's face. I know you've done it before. You talk to people and they just. It's like talking to a freaking ghost. Like,
I know you've done it before.
I know you've done it before. Like, I know you've seen people do this before. Like,
yeah.
You try to tell them something and it's like
the fluoride. I call it the fluoride glare. Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand how some people can see.
So God made Jesus, right? And Lucifer was like, man, I want to be the savior of mankind.
Sorry, so okay.
I'm
going with this, but when is this? When is this, like millions of years, like way before humanity even shows up on the map, or when is this? Are they on Earth, or are they in a dimension transcending where we're experiencing right now? So so when you say heaven, you mean like a dimension that we don't experience right now on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think
we can't be where God is.
I
you have to be perfect to be where God. You can't be in these fleshly, dirty bodies. We have to
really.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, that's why you don't go to heaven.
That's one of the disagreements.
You don't go to heaven in this skin. This is just a vessel. This is just a vessel for our souls.
But you're talking about the afterlife. What about right now?
We're not in heaven. This is earth. This is where this is the ghetto. You know, like,
But
this
you
is
don't feel like we could make it a
the
heaven.
ghetto of the
You don't think that
universe.
we are godly enough to make it a heaven on earth? You don't think we have the power to create a heaven on earth?
Yeah, we do have the power to make heaven on earth.
I know. I agree with you that right
but
now it's
you know
hell
what?
because we believe in so many
It's not going to
lies.
happen until Jesus comes back, because
But do you think he's already here?
look at what's happening.
I feel like he's already here, and it's just a matter of whether or not people are listening or
How is
seeing.
Jesus here? There's no peace on this earth. Jesus is the Prince of Peace.
It could be within you, though.
Jesus is in us.
Right. That's
We can.
what I'm getting.
That's
at.
why they say be the change you want to see in the world.
That's what I'm getting at.
Like, be Christ-like.
Yes, that's what I'm
That's the
down
same
with.
thing. In order to be the change, that's the same thing.
Yeah,
Being
but
the change.
not everybody interprets
being
it that way, though,
Christ-like.
Ty. Not everybody interprets that as the same thing.
You're right. But I'm saying, like,
A lot of people put their responsibilities. They take things that
People
they
put
know
their-
that they need to
put it
do,
in their
and they
own
put it
hands.
in. You know, it's the whole Jesus take the wheel, the whole Jesus take the wheel mentality. You know, it's like you got to do for self. Jesus will give you the tools. God will give you the tools to do for self, but you got to do for self.
yeah.
Yeah. Now go ahead.
don't
That's
wanna-
the talking because the audio is running.
Everybody has their own path. No, there is not a person in this world that walks the same exact path. We might walk in somebody's footsteps every once in a while, but we all end up on another path. You know what I'm saying? Everybody sees things from a different point of view, so it's a different path daily. People, every 24 hours, we got a decision to make whether we want to do good or do bad. And
Shit, every moment of every day.
yeah.
Damn. We'll get this video right, people. I promise.
And it's like, man, if there was, like you was talking about, somebody believing in just good, they wouldn't know anything else, you know what I mean? What if all we knew was evil? Then what?
I feel like a lot of
Nigga, we
people.
probably would have nuked the whole earth by now. Like,
I feel like a lot of
probably
people,
would've-
though. I feel like there are a lot of
Like-
people like growing up in the ghettos of Africa and shit. All they do know is evil. Or I don't want to say
some
all.
people-
I don't want to say all though, because everybody that's been born
people
has
in the-
experienced some.
The ghettos of America.
Being
that's all
born
they
is an
see
act of love, though.
All they see is
Being
evil.
born is an act of love, though. So I don't know. I feel like the hell that we're living in is mental, man. When you talk about getting to heaven, like I do feel like we can make heaven on earth. And I feel like cannabis is a big part of that, actually. Real talk.
I feel like we can, but it's more like, if you look at what's going on in the world, everything is it's not getting better. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but do you think that it's darkest before the dawn type shit? Because I feel like maybe it's got to get bad, so bad that
Yeah.
it becomes obvious for people that they have to
Well,
make
yeah.
a substantial change in their life.
Yeah, people put in those type of situations all the time anyway. But yeah, something just like America, something has to happen where, like, everything that America has done to the world has to come back on it. You know what I mean?
Right. And do you think that goes back to the people that actually, like, and the families that actually set up the country?
I hope so.
Yeah, you know what?
I be hoping so.
Leave it like that. And that's still not gonna be. It's the video ain't gonna be worth it either way. So fuck it. Let's try. So, anyways, I think we've already had a pretty damn good discussion, man. I just want to go with anything else that you want to talk about because we kind of talked about religion a lot. I feel like to wrap the religion discussion up, though, I feel like we agree on a lot of things, but
Man, look, the Bible has a prophecy rate of 100%.
A lot of people would disagree with that, though, because of the way that they interpret it. And that's what I'm getting to is like, although I think there's truth in it, simply because of the effect that it's had on humanity. I mean, look at the faith that people have put in it, the multitude of denominations of organized, denominations of Christianity, different sects of Christianity, different, you got the Catholic Church, but then you've also got all the Protestant churches, you've got all the, the little home churches, and
different sects of everything.
Yeah. And they all disagree on certain things too.
Yeah.
So it just makes a uniform interpretation really difficult.
That's a man-made thing, though. Like, that's man's fault, dog. All of this shit is man's fault. That's not God's fault.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, what I'm saying is, the Bible explains all of that. Like, it explains it in detail. And I don't know no other book that does that. And I wish somebody would show me another book that
there are like, I know like the Vedic scriptures talk about the creation of human, and it's, there's similarities. I don't want to say it's the same, but there's a lot of similarities where, the first man was made from mud, or there's so many different Native American creation myths that relate to the Bible in some ways,
All of it does, man, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, the flood.
So, all right, so let me ask this. What gives you your strong Christian conviction? What experiences?
Just everything that's in it, dog. Like, everything.
So you said you hadn't read the whole Bible, though. So what parts of the Bible really resonate with you? Which parts?
Like the prophecies.
The New Testament.
The prophecies, especially because
Revelations.
There's prophecies all throughout the Bible from the birth, like Jesus was predicted in the Old Testament way before he was born. And that's crazy. Like, the time, man, they lied about Jesus' birthday and all of that. Like, it's just, man, it's crazy. But yeah, all the prophecies that's in the Bible, they're in detail, and historically, that's exactly what really happened. Like, and they keep discovering stuff. Like, they're still discovering stuff now. Like, and they're like, man, they found, when they said Moses opened the Red Sea, or whoever opened the Red Sea, and then the water fell in on the army behind them, they found evidence of that. They found evidence of, like, Noah's Ark, all kinds of stuff that they're finding evidence of, and I'm like, man, that proves like it's real, and they're hiding it. The giants, you know what I'm saying? All of this stuff that they're hiding from the world.
All of the Vatican library that only like the priests are allowed in is like
it talks about
long, right?
The prophecy of the Vatican is in the Bible, like the false church and the apostate church. It's talking about Catholicism. Like the synagogue of Satan. It describes them to the T. It says they dress in scarlet and like purple and scarlet.
Were you brought up in the church?
Yeah, I was brought up in the church.
You went to church like every Sunday growing up?
Yep, till I was 18.
You go now?
Nah, I ain't been to church since I was 18. Dog.
So you feel like church is everywhere then? Like life is church.
Yeah, I can have church anywhere. Like we're having church right now.
We're having church right now. Yeah, so that's... See, that it's shit like that we totally agree on.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And I feel like,
I could be smoking and having church. I could be drinking and having church. I could be on shrooms and having church, just as long as we talking about
being aware of your connection to life, to God.
Exactly.
I feel, to any atheist or non-religious person listening, to me, when I say God, you really replace that with life.
Ain't nobody perfect, and it says in the Bible that nobody can be perfect. And I used to think that you could be perfect. I thought there was a way to be perfect. I thought there was perfect people on the planet. And I used to argue with people about it. But then I found out there aren't any perfect.
That's something I could disagree with you on too.
Nobody's perfect.
You could also, I mean, if nobody's perfect, then everybody's perfect too, though.
Nobody's perfect.
But that's kind of like,
there was only like one perfect person to ever live, and that was, to me, it was Jesus. Like the only perfect person to ever live.
yeah. See,
Other than that, yo, everybody else has sinned in some kind of way.
I feel like that's part of one of the lies, though. I feel like everything is perfect, and one of the biggest lies that we've been pushed, that has been pushed on us, is that, you know, we are the abomination of God's creation. God's creation is perfect except us. Like, I feel like that's kind of a, you know, it's a contradiction. How is everything perfect except us? If we're part of God's creation, then we're perfect too.
Yeah, we're not perfect at all.
I disagree with that. I can see why people would think that, because we're given the choice to fuck up, and we choose to fuck up a lot. Yeah. But I feel like the fact that we have that choice is perfect.
I think we can be made perfect.
And we can become aware of our own perfection. I mean, again, I think that's where faith plays such a crucial role, because if you believe that you're not perfect, then you'll do things.
How are we perfect? Like when we sin every day. We sin all the time.
When you say sin, you mean like lie?
Nah.
What do you mean?
Like sinning, like all the things that we do against God, like harming our temple especially, you know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to be smoking. We're not supposed to be drinking.
According to who, though?
Harming your temple.
I feel like that's according to the false prophets.
Unless it's for your health, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's another one.
Unless it's for a positive thing that's going to help your body.
I feel like
because all smoke harms your body.
I disagree with that too.
Like what's smoke?
Cannabis
helps your body.
Cannabis,
but you can get cancer from smoke. Any kind of incineration.
Yeah,
it's not good for your body. Like my lungs are probably black. Even though I quit cigarettes like 10 years ago.
Hey, listen. I understand that perspective, but my perspective is that we're like given that opportunity, and we should enjoy it. Like again, it comes back to like the same. It's kind of the same idea when we were talking about food and eating meat.
If that was the case, I'd be doing meth.
I mean, if you're doing it, just be super grateful, man. Just be super grateful. That's my thing. Is like be grateful that it exists.
You see what that shit do?
Nah, I know.
No, I mean, just because.
That's why you just got to use your heart, man. Like not just your brain.
God said
use your brain and your heart.
It's a verse in the Bible about weed. Genesis 1:29.
Yeah, I mean,
it says, "I give you every green seed-bearing plant for food and medicine."
Well, okay, there you go, right there. Because, all right, meth. Yeah, meth is something that is like synthesized.
That's man-made.
But not not only man-made, but it's taken from a plant and it's supercharged or superpowered or synthesized or they've isolated a certain methamphetamine out of the ephedra plant or out of whatever plant that they're getting. All drugs come from plants. There's ways cocaine comes from the coca plant.
Yeah.
There's ways you can chew on coca leaves.
But you gotta put rat poison and shit to make it cocaine.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm totally in agreement, but I'm saying the plants themselves, there's ways to use them where they're...
It's not like you just grind the plant up and then it...
Yeah, you can use ephedra and it'll be stimulating. You're not going to be fucking tweaking for 36 hours, but you'll catch a good buzz, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that, using the plant. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
For medicine.
Or chewing on the coca leaves for a little stimulating buzz, Yeah. But like you said, once you use rat poison and butane and all this shit to make like some powder that if you put like a little bit up your nose, your heart is fucking going outside of your chest. Like that's just stupid to me. I mean, if you enjoy it, be grateful for it. That's my whole point. But it's not for me, for sure.
Weed's different because you can't overdose on weed.
Yeah. Safety studies show that magic mushrooms are even safer than weed. How wild is that?
Like, you can eat as many as you want.
You can trip balls and you're still probably not going to die. Unless you put yourself in a situation where you behaviorally do, like, jump off of a building or do something stupid. But if you're just chilling, your body is not going to, like, die off of
You know what
the
to get some?
overdosing effect.
I need to get some of them drinks. But shit, man. Like, that's what I believe, man.
That's why I have these conversations, man. I like
My thing
being able to
is-
disagree with somebody a little bit, you know? It's like, that's respect too, like being able to talk about real shit and have a little bit of a we agree on a lot of some of the more important things, in my opinion anyway. But, you know, I like being able to respectfully disagree with people because it just shows that you've got your own perspective and you're not gonna
I know this
kowtow
podcast,
to what I say, you know?
But can I ask you something?
Yeah, for
what
sure.
you believe,
like
from creation, like
yeah.
where the hell you think we came from and why we here?
I feel like first of all, that's an awesome question. Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think that we're actually in a computer program. So how odd
A
does that
computer
sound?
program?
Yeah, I
Like
feel
a
like
simulation?
yeah, kind of, but like a lot of times when people hear, like, if I say like we live in a simulation, people will think like, oh, this is like just a video game, and it's like, yeah, but your idea of a video game is so fucking crude that you don't see like how this is kind of like just a super detailed video game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like everything that we understand in terms of time, our story, like for me, the only thing that exists is this moment, right? So like we live in stories though. And that's why belief is so powerful, and that's why religions try to get people to believe their story, is because if you can get people to believe your story, then you can manipulate people. And that's why religions like compete for faith, you know? It's like a battle for people's power, really. Because if people just realize that their faith is the power, then they can create their own story, you know? But everybody's just living within somebody else's story. They're like so influenced by all the lies, and like our story is so infected with lies that people are kind of blind almost, you know?
They're blind.
So yeah, like on a scientific level, I think that the only thing that exists is this very moment. And like, but that's like really almost depressing, right? Because then like, how do you operate in life if you don't have memories to go on, you know? Like, how do you know? If you're just going by instinct all the time, that's like truly animalistic. That's like, you know, just living, I'm hungry, so I'm going to go like eat, you know, like humans have refined ourselves to where we understand how to prepare meals in a healthy way, or how to prepare, you know, a blunt of weed, or, you know, like primitive man they're not doing that, you know? It's like, I don't know how they were using weed, but I feel like the first ways of doing it was probably like putting it, you know, just burning it on a big bonfire and like putting a canopy tent up, you know, like until they figured out how to roll it up or something, or put it in a pipe. Like, you have to experiment and refine and get better and better at any skill or anything that you do, you know, in life, whether it's like eating or like your shelter, like building better homes, like growing better gardens, being a better hunter, you know, like building better tracking equipment, and all that's like the reason technology exists, is to make our lives easier, you know, and like to give us more opportunities to do more different things, you know, instead of just being farming and hunting for our whole life, you know.
Well,
I don't know. What do you think about that? I feel like
I think it would be, I think kind of like it could be better without the technology.
how,
Like without the
but I mean,
without,
a shovel
well,
is technology. That's where it's like we got to be a little bit more.
not the
precise with our words or our definitions of words because
the technology, as in like the stuff that they're creating now,
with
like,
computer chips and shit.
Yeah. But like, as a civilization surviving, I think the Native Americans is living better than we are right now. Even though we can go to the store right up the road.
They had community.
Exactly, like they had more togetherness. Like, man, they had never-ending food here. Like there. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's different now because there's way more people.
And private property, empire. You know, the whole world is pretty much the British American Empire at this point, in one way, or the European Empire. You know, or they've got certain countries have popped up because they were rich in natural resources, like Saudi Arabia. You know.
Yeah.
But all of that is a story, man. Like that, like the whole, all politics, like the whole way that most people operate, they don't even see that they're just living in the story that they believe. And they could change that. They could change the story at any time. Like, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to do because you've got other people that still project the story that you've been living and their ideas about you. They're still going to project that onto you. So like, it's a process for sure. But if you're aware of other people trying to project what they want for you onto you, you can disagree to that and create your own story, like still do your own thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think stories are big.
So I think it's just like a computer program. What do you think made the computer program? Like, is there a programmer?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And where did that come from? And like, what's the end result?
You mean what's the first cause, basically? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
What's the
what do you
first?
believe where it started, and then how you think it's going to end?
I don't think that there is an end. I think humanity might end, but I don't think there's an end to life. I think life is forever. Like our bodies die, but what moves our bodies never dies. Our souls, what some people would call our souls. I don't think that ever dies. Yeah, as far as like the programmer, yeah, I think that there are levels to it. I think we're programmers. We're programming each other right now just by having this discussion. You know, and anybody that listens, I guess any idea that they agree to, they make part of their program. You know? But I think the power comes from being aware that you can agree or disagree with any idea or concept or story. That's what I think Jesus is talking about when he talks about faith. And I think the scientific proof of faith is most clearly laid out in the placebo effect.
What you mean?
I mean, you know the placebo effect, like in medicine?
Mm-mm.
You know, like you've heard of the placebo effect, like sugar
I heard
pills?
of it, I forgot what it was.
Yeah, man. So the placebo effect is what the standard of medicine, I mean, that's when the FDA goes to approve a drug, it has to be a certain percentage better than the placebo effect in order to pass. But the placebo effect is proven. Even though modern science claims that they don't know how it works. But yeah, just believing that something you could take a sugar pill, but if you believe that it's a real medicine, it will help heal you. Like the placebo effect, there's so many cases of people. There's a story of like this doctor in England in the 1800s. Like he was telling people with arthritis that he made a magic wand. And it was just like this stick that had like metal, a certain type of metal, like magnetic metal in it. And he like provided directions that like magnetized it. And So like there was an effect, like it was like, prove that it's activated by like putting it on your refrigerator or something like that, So then it's like, so then people think that, oh, there's some active force in this stick, and then they like touch their leg with it, and then for like years, this pretty much metal stick was like curing people's arthritis, and then like they came to find out that it was just like a magnetic stick, and like people were like, oh shit, there's no science behind it. And because people believe in science so much, like that belief is where the actual power is. And okay, now science has proven, quote unquote, that this stick isn't doing anything for you, and then all of a sudden it wasn't working for people anymore. But it was working for all these years when people believed that it was working, like just the power of their belief was actually like helping heal them, It's not 100%. It doesn't work 100% of the time for 100% of people, but there is a proven, scientifically proven. I mean, even the FDA uses it as its standard to judge other medicines. So it's a scientifically proven thing. They claim they don't know how it works, but yeah, your belief is powerful, man, and that's that's where
It's like manifestation.
I believe Jesus was a master, whether he's a real person or somebody like just writing, pretending to be. Not necessarily pretending, but just like somebody who knew the secrets and just gave themselves a pen name.
Man, what's crazy is like I was locked up and this dude tried to get me to convert to being a Muslim.
Islam, yeah. That's
was
big in
like-
prisons, right?
Yeah. And he was trying to get me to convert, and I was like, man, all right, let me check your book out, and you gotta check mine out though. And I gave him my Bible. He gave me his Quran. Right in the beginning of the Quran, it said, do this in this order. It said, read the Torah. Then it said, read the Bible. And then it said, read the Quran. And I looked at another Quran and it said the same thing. And I was just sitting there like, what? Why is the Quran saying to read the Torah and the Bible?
Well, Jesus is the most quoted prophet in the Quran.
That's crazy. They don't even believe Jesus, like, is who.
The true prophet or whatever.
They just think he's a regular prophet.
Yeah.
But even in the Quran, the last time I was locked up, like, I was looking at this guy's Quran and it said Jesus was basically the son of God, yo. And I was like, this is in the Quran, and I was like, asking the dude, I was like, what's up? Like, explain this shit to me. Like, why is it saying this in the Quran? He was like, man, because we do believe Jesus is the son of God. I was like, and then he said some more after that. I'm like, and that's basically, I was like, that's all I mean.
He said because they do believe Jesus what?
They really do believe that Jesus is the son of God.
Okay. So then what is
But-
Muhammad?
It's something like, I don't know, it's related to Muhammad.
They
It's
think
why-
Muhammad is like blood related to Christ?
I don't know what the real fight is about, and that's what the thing is, man.
Yeah, nobody
That's
really
what
knows,
all of these extra religions
except for the people that really
is about. It's
are on the
confusion.
ground,
Like,
yeah.
even everybody's confused.
Yeah.
And
That's
this
for
is the
sure.
whole, like,
That's
Lucifer
for sure.
is-
Mass confusion.
the master of confusion.
Right. So did I explain what I believed
Mass.
enough, or did you have any other questions for me?
Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, in the
Another good
program,
question.
like, what's next? Is it going to be an end?
I think it's inherently unpredictable.
Is it eternal?
I do think it's eternal. I don't know that we're going to be forever humans in the way that we're humans now. I think there's going to be two paths. I think everybody's going to be a transhuman, but some people are going to be like us, and we're just going to get more and more aware. And we're going to use technology, but we're not going to implement it in our bodies, or maybe minimally implement it in our bodies, like when we need surgery or something. And then there's going to be people who like full on just want to get all of the robotic upgrades on their body.
Like Elon Musk trying to put
Right.
the Neuralink in people.
Right. So I
Duh.
think there's going to be like we're all going to be cyborgs. I think we're all already cyborgs
Hell
on a
no.
crude level when you think about everybody being on a smartphone and everybody connected to the internet.
Well, that's why, like,
But it's going to get more
that's another thing. I'm
refined.
like, man, these people that don't believe in the Bible, they're gonna do something crazy. Like, if the Bible is true, and people have to end up getting the mark of the beast, where they can't buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get the mark of the beast, it's over for them. Like, there's no saving them
for
after
sure. You're not, you've lost your ability to make decisions independently, which I feel that we already don't really have independent decision making. We're influenced in ways that we might not see as much, but once you've taken the chip, then it's like, then it's truly game over. You really don't even.
And that's another thing. What book talks about that besides the Bible?
I think there's a lot of new books that talk about that. It's just not so many
new
ancient books.
because where they get the idea from?
Yeah, for sure, for sure,
like,
for sure.
If there, I mean, I don't even know. There might be some other books out there that talk about it. And
So my thing, my thing is just like, I want to emphasize, I'm not a Bible hater, and I'm not like a full Bible believer either. But my thing with the Bible is, I think everything should be your Bible. Like you should listen to everything, and even lies. Like the way to learn how to tell when somebody's lying is by listening to a bunch of lies and good liars, like good actors, and then you can pick up better on it,
Yeah. That's how I can recognize evil so well.
Do you think some people are? I mean, I'm the best example of this, at least for me. Is like I feel like I was brainwashed for most all of my life.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of people out like that I feel like have good hearts and good souls, but they're misguided, and they're out here lying without even really. It's not like not even consciously lying. Like they're lying, thinking that they're being truthful. That's the confusion and delusion and deception that we're at.
Exactly. That's what it was made to be, like, literally. And it's really simple. Like, when you think about it, the whole story is in the Bible.
You keep going back to that, but my point is like, yeah, everything could be tight. I might
like when it talks about,
you might
like,
be right.
all of the.
But what about for people that haven't read it or that aren't invested in it at all?
That's their free will.
Yeah,
They chose that. You know what I mean? Like they know about it. People talk about God. They choose not to see it. And once there's verses in the Bible that talk about people get.
But you said earlier you do think it's possible to find God without the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
what about the people who wrote the Bible, right?
literally, I pretty much found God multiple times while I was high. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. That was one of my first intimate experiences with God. It was the first time I got real high.
And
I've had a lot more since then.
I'm sitting there reading the Bible.
Mind blowing.
The Bible is just basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's what BIBLE stands for.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's all it is an instruction.
I feel like English is also just it's not even the language that it was written in there.
Some people don't even need an instruction book. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's coded.
Some people already know what the fuck going on.
I feel like it's part of the computer program that I'm talking about, and it's like a manual.
I needed the Bible.
It's written in
myself.
Hebrew though, man. And Hebrew is
I'm able to be a Bible for other people.
Well,
people that speak my language. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They love it when I talk about this kind of stuff because they never heard it in such a blunt, simple, raw form. You know what I'm saying? It's always broken down into verses or something like that. But I break stuff down in an easy way. That's why you can understand me clearly. You know what I mean? Like, when I talk about that kind of stuff. And it's crazy. Well, some people can't, but most people can't. But, like, I don't know, man. It just makes too much sense, yo. For it not to be true. And like I think
there's truth in everything. Like, What I was
There's
what I was
truth.
about to
There's truth
say,
in I think it's truth,
even
and
in
there's lies and
lies,
everything, because
right?
everything is counterfeit.
Right, and it's
This is
basic.
Lucifer's world, man. Like they got it on the back of the dollar bill, yo. Like
Yeah.
the New World Order,
What about
Novus Ordo
this?
Seclorum, everything that Lucifer said.
What about the Bible being written in Hebrew, which was a 22-letter alphabet, and a lot of sacred geometry and frequency and like mathematics is involved with that language. And I think the English version of the Bible in general, just the
Like
the
gematria.
first translation into English was already fucked it up, you know? And so
That's because English isn't a perfect language. Like
yeah, no, it's a fucked up language
it's not even.
cymatically.
It's not
Like the
Hebrews.
sound of it,
It's
yeah.
not Hebrews' fault that it
No,
couldn't.
I agree, but I'm saying the version of the Bible that anybody who only understands English, like me, right? Most people we know who don't know how to read Hebrew,
Yeah,
like the version of the Bible that we're reading is already distorted from the pure truth, you know?
yeah. That's well, man. That's why we it specifically says to seek the truth. God knew what was going to happen with the Bible.
Right. It would be desecrated and
They was going
they're
to try
gonna take
to,
books out of it and shit like that.
yeah, like confuse the people and make it hard for people.
Right? Do you think all right,
Everything
so
Lucifer is doing is making
why do
it
some people like us embrace that challenge of discovering the truth in a world so saturated with lies, and some people are content or even happy with accepting the lies?
because they're comfortable. It's all
Comfort.
about being comfortable.
Yeah, no, you're on the money there.
You don't change until you get out your comfort zone.
That's 100%
A
right there,
butterfly has to go through really uncomfortable conditions to become a butterfly.
for sure. Well, this has been awesome, man. Anything else you want to talk about
You
before
could
we hop up
just,
out of here?
some people would rather stay a worm and crawl on the ground their whole life because it's easy. You don't have to go through that process of transformation, like
Metamorphosis.
where you get off the ground and spread your wings where you can fly anywhere you actually want. And that's true freedom. Some people are stuck on the ground, dog.
But that's their choice, though, right?
Yeah, it's their choice, man, and they got to go through life, man, and learn to be better, man, and that's the only way they can figure out how to get their wings. They got to go through trials and tribulations to get there. Like, nobody just gets their wings, man.
Right.
Some people don't ever get their wings.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Some people get their wings and clip their wings.
Yeah. That's,
I've done it.
I was going to say, it's
But
a common experience, I think.
when you
in
believe
today's
in what I
world.
believe in, you can grow them back. You know what I'm saying? They grow back. We're better than butterflies.
What do you
even though
think's
we
going to
can't fly.
happen? That was one question I didn't ask you that you asked me. What do you think's going to happen?
Like in the end, I believe
Well,
in the
not
end time.
necessarily. I don't believe.
I
You
believe in
believe in
the
end
end time
times?
prophecies. Like
So
whatever
you believe the world is going to end? Like the whole earth is going to?
be devoured and fired, dog. Like it's gonna be a new heaven and a new earth.
And do you think humanity will survive?
I believe the earth was destroyed by water, just like the Bible said before. God said He'll never destroy earth by water again. There was a rainbow. Noah and the family saw it. That was God's promise to not flood the earth anymore. But the next one is gonna be fire. I don't know how it's going. God can.
But do you think humanity survives?
Only the people that survive. At that point in time, it's just going to be the unbelievers fighting against God.
So do you? All right. So is this a metaphorical fire or a fire like that?
Literally,
A literal
is
fire,
going to be
like
the
volcanic.
earth that we know, the earth and the heaven that we know. It's going to be destroyed. And it's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. It's going to be a new earth. Like all of this is going to be destroyed. Everything that we see.
So it'll be
It's
a
gonna
new
be-
planet altogether, or a new
It's gonna be
home.
basically heaven and earth is gonna be one, and it's gonna be it's gonna be all basically like heaven on earth.
So
All of this has to be destroyed in fire first.
do you think that people in certain spots, no matter how godly they are, will get destroyed by the fire? Or do you think that your godliness will protect you from the fire?
Yeah. At that point, what does the Bible say? It's gonna be it's somewhere wherever the believers are, they're gonna be protected. Like they're not gonna be all over, they're all gonna be at one spot at that point in time. And
So they're going to get a forewarning.
well, you got the rapture, which takes everybody that was saved before the tribulation and all of that happens. And the people after that have to go through the rest of the tribulation. Once they see that the Bible was real and everything, because they're going to actually see it coming true, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's still going to be people on the earth that are like, that even they're going to see it, but they're going to
deny
fight
what they
against
experience.
God because they're like,
Oh.
you know how humans are, man. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to be
Stubborn.
those same people that we just can't get the truth through.
Right.
And it's like, they're going to still fight against God even though they know God is, they're going to take it as God is destroying the earth. So they're going to fight against God because these people worship the creation instead of the creator, you know? So like, you're destroying our mother earth. We're all dying. There's famine and pestilences everywhere, just like it says in the Bible. People are going to turn on God. And people are going to try to, like, go and kill God's people. And it's going to be like, right at the time when, like, everything is at its peak, Jesus comes back.
You think that happens in our lifetime?
Destroys all the evil on the planet with fire, and then makes a new heaven and a new earth, and everything is new. Like, everybody's going to be in spiritual bodies. Nobody's going to be hungry anymore. Nobody's going to be thirsty anymore.
So it'll be a totally new experience and altogether.
It's going to be what perfect really is. It's like, whatever your definition of perfect is. When we think of perfect, and it's like, we'll never achieve perfect. That's what perfect is going to be. We're not even going to need oxygen. We're not going to be breathing. Like,
see, but see, that's my take on perfection is
no hurt, no
our
pain.
judgment is what makes everything imperfect. So, like, to make things perfect, we need to lose our judgment.
We was meant to be perfect. Like, Adam and Eve was perfect beings. They didn't know.
What do you think about
They
judgment?
didn't know. Adam and Eve didn't know good or evil. That's what the tree was.
Right. The tree of knowledge is the tree of good and
They was
evil.
just perfect people.
Right. So, but what do you think about, damn, what was I about to say? Ah, shit. I lost my train of thought.
From the beginning, evil was taken over. As soon as they ate the apple, you know what I'm saying? Cain and Abel, their first two kids. One murdered the other one. Like, as soon as it started, evil was, the world was already crazy pretty much, you know what I'm saying? And it just got crazier from there. We all family, dog. You're my cousin.
Distant relatives.
How we cousins?
Distant relatives.
But we really are
That's like one of
cousins.
my favorite albums
If
ever.
the Adam and Eve thing is true,
You
we're
know
all
that Nas and
cousins.
Damian Marley album?
Yeah,
Distant relatives. That's like one of my favorite albums ever. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, so, all right, so you said that it's going to be perfect. So do you believe... okay, I remember what I was going to ask you. What do you believe about Judgment Day?
Dog, the streets of heaven are going to be made of gold.
What do you believe about Judgment Day? What's your take on Judgment Day? A lot of people think it's the day that of your last, the day where God imposes his final judgment upon your life and you go to heaven or hell or whatever. You
Oh
believe
yeah,
that?
Judgment Day is that's when the saints go to heaven and
Yeah,
the non-believers
I
the
have an unusual
non-believers
take on the last judgment.
the non-believers get thrown into the lake of fire at the end, along with
Yeah, I
along
don't
with
see it that way.
Lucifer and the fallen angels.
I
Every
think the last
everybody
judgment or judgment day is when you were talking about perfection. I feel like everything is already perfect, and what makes it not perfect is exactly what you were talking about, eating from the tree of knowledge. And eating from the tree of knowledge is what gave us the ability to judge creation or judge our
yeah
experience of life.
we never
And
knew judgment before
our
that.
fall was literally judgment, and our return to God and our return to seeing life through like spiritual eyes, our connection to God, the removing the bean from our own eye, so to speak, to put it in biblical terms,
Mhm.
is, you know, never is losing our judgment. Like that's how the only way to see the perfection is to stop judging it as not perfect, you know?
Well, I mean that started in heaven too, dog. The first sin was jealousy and judgment, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Judgment, yeah, for sure.
Lucifer had everything. Then God made Jesus and he was like, you're going to be the savior of mankind. And Lucifer was like, I want to be the savior of mankind.
Yeah.
That's when Lucifer,
Do you think all of
Lucifer is
these
so smart.
characters live within us, though? I feel like Lucifer is in us.
Lucifer is so
Jesus is
smart.
in us. All of these people are in us.
Think about how powerful Lucifer is, though, for a second, dog. This dude was a creation. He wasn't God. He was just the leader of the angels. This dude was so smart that he took a third of the angels with him to fight against God and the good angels. That didn't go well. He got thrown to earth. They got thrown to earth. Angels don't have a gender either. And there's different types of angels. But they got thrown to earth. You ever heard of the Book of Enoch?
Mm-hmm.
They was able to manipulate the earth way before humans was here. But the
Yeah.
Book of Enoch talks about everything that the angels did before they taught humans. They taught humans all of the
See, a
technology
lot
that
of
we got
people
now.
think that was just an advanced race.
What?
Like when I was talking earlier about like
Dog,
some people.
those advanced races talk about beings from the heavens.
Yeah. Do you think they were the creators of humans? Or you think
Not the
humans?
creators of
You think
humans.
God
I think,
directly created
like I said,
humans? You
they
think
was.
humans are out the mud?
It's like this. They got thrown to earth, right? The fallen angels got thrown to earth. The ones that was against God.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that counterfeited everything. They was able to manipulate the whole earth before humans got here.
Got you.
They already knew that humans was going to be here because they knew the plan a long time ago. So they was going to they want to take every soul that they can to hell with them because they know what's going to happen at the end. We don't know what's going to happen. We have a system to find out what happens. But that's just the Bible. That's what the Bible and Christianity is. And that's what all of this is to me.
Oh, I do know one last thing I want to talk about before we finish. What do you think about marriage?
Man, I think marriage is...
That's a really Christian
I think
institution.
the marriage that I see today is pagan. It's not Christian at all. When the ring is not Christian.
What is that?
Christians never use rings.
What is the
Christians
origin
don't
of
do none of that stuff. Jump in the room, walking down the aisle in a dress. Christians don't do that. There ain't no story in the Bible of Christians doing that ever.
So
that's a pagan thing.
The wedding ceremony is
that's a Roman Greek thing.
Okay. That's
something
interesting.
like that. That's not Christian.
Well, so what would a Christian wedding
like I
be
said, that was mixed into... The Christians do it because what Constantine did when they mixed it at that point in time. The original Christians didn't do none of them pagan customs. Think about why. This is what led me to researching this stuff. I was just high, nigga. And I'm sitting there like, why the fuck do Christians and atheists celebrate Christmas? And I was sitting there like, I gotta find it. Why? Hold up. Something ain't right here.
Yeah.
We celebrating the same holiday.
Mm-hmm.
The Satanists, the atheists,
The pagans.
and the Christians are celebrating Christmas. They all got a tree.
The pagans, yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on here? Then I found out the Christmas tree ain't even Christian. There's a verse in the Bible that specifically says not to put a Christmas tree in your house. Not to go into the woods. He said it was talking about that don't follow worldly traditions. They go into the woods and cut down a fir tree. They set it up in their house and decorate it with silver and gold. We have a knockoff version of Christmas now. Them plastic lights we use are just a symbol of the silver and gold that they used to use back in the day. And it was a pagan thing. They worship, you know what I'm saying? They all of it is pagan. They worship in the sun, winter solstice, and the birthday of Nimrod, King Nimrod, King of Babylon. That's why they have a tree in the first place. That's what his mom made for a symbol of fir. It was cedar tree, I think, a fir tree. In his memory. That's why we bow down to the Christmas tree. People. And that's what the original custom was. They would bow down to Nimrod, his memorial pretty much, back in the day.
So wait,
That's where Christmas came from, though.
So is marriage, did marriage originate with pre-Christian people?
I don't know where marriage originated, but I know it's not our form of marriage.
I thought Christians were the
That
ones
people
that
do in
kinda
churches and stuff.
originated the idea.
That's not Christian. Like, nah. Christianity is not about putting your self-centeredness at all. Christianity is all about worshiping Jesus, period. Worshiping God. Worshiping Jesus. It's not worshiping yourself. They didn't even celebrate their birthdays.
So, but wait, but no, it is a Christian belief to get married, though, right? I mean, it seems like it is today, anyway. That's practiced that way, but you're saying it's not actually like that? You're saying real Christianity puts no
I believe you're
emphasis on
supposed to
marriage?
be with one person.
Okay.
But at the same time, there was a lot of people in the Bible that had multiple wives.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that they're saying that monogamy is the only form of like interaction between men and women, or even like just between humans in general. I'm saying that their, I guess, fundamental institution is marriage. Like amongst Christian societies, like what they would consider like the unit, you know, your tribe is your family essentially in Christianity, right? And like that's why there's a nuclear family. That's why we try to live like with a nuclear family rather than a tribe.
Anybody like who believes what you think is your family.
I don't think that's how a lot of Christians live, though.
Yeah, that's because this is not real.
Yeah, no, I feel you. We've already talked about that.
This ain't like most of the people that go to church don't know what we know. You know what I'm saying? They're all they know was what they was taught generation by generation. They never did research on stuff that we've done research on. The stuff that I'm telling you right now, you know what I'm saying? They don't know. They celebrate Christmas. They don't know what they're doing. I don't celebrate Christmas because I know I know it's not Christian. Why would I celebrate? There's a lot of Christian holidays that Christians don't even celebrate, but they celebrate Easter and celebrate Christmas. Those are pagan holidays. They're not Christian at all. Ain't no rabbits and eggs in Christianity. That's true. Pagan.
No, that's true.
Easter is a pagan goddess.
So what do you think about tribal living? Like right now, I feel like we're set up to live. Everybody, you know, has their little nuclear family in their house, you know, or like their roommate if they're not married.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what do you think about living more tribally?
What you mean, like off the grid type?
No, not necessarily even off the grid, but just like, you know, why aren't, you know, I live in a cul-de-sac. Why isn't it like the norm for there to be like a food share in the cul-de-sac, you know?
Yeah, I know, man.
Or like a
that's because
or like a lawn equipment share, you know? I provide a riding lawnmower, somebody else provides a tiller, somebody else provides, and anybody who needs it, you just switch off and on, you know? And that way you don't have everybody has a whole fucking garage full of all this shit, you know? You don't need all that, you know?
well, I mean, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just people like the technology is taking people away from each other.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the money
Instead of
incentive
going
too,
next door or a
I think
couple houses
it's
down
profit
to
too, though. Like
ask somebody a question like that, we can just video call them. So the actual interaction with people is getting less and less with the technology.
yeah, but I feel
Which
like people are interacting even less.
Oh, and COVID?
Even with more tech, you have technology to connect us, and we seem less connected than ever. Isn't that
COVID was
weird?
really a big part of that.
Yeah.
And I said that from the beginning, like, as soon as it started, I was like, this is going to separate people.
Yeah.
People going to get used to not being around each other.
Yep. For sure. Well, hell yeah, man. I think we're almost at 2 hours, or we might even be over. Oh, we're at 1 hour and 50, so we'll wrap it up. But that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Any last thoughts before I hit stop on this?
Not right now, man. We
Oh,
got to
yeah.
do another one, though.
Yeah, we'll do it. Hey, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Because the content was heavily religious and heavily Christian, and because Ty himself is such a devout Christian, there were times where our language was very scriptural, religious sounding, and so I just wanted to clarify how I feel. You know, I did provide a little bit of context with the clip from Kymatica at the beginning of this episode as far as how I feel, but as many of you know, I am a advocate of the Toltec lifestyle, to put it mildly. And I just wanted to share, this is Miguel's vision of Christ, Don Miguel. And I think this is, let's just say I hope it provides some clarity as far as how I interpret the Bible and the story of Jesus and Christianity itself. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. This is an excerpt from Beyond Fear. Like I said, it's by Don Miguel Ruiz. Let's just get into it. The Jesus I found in my meditations was 90% different from the Jesus presented in his church. I do not agree with the last 1500 years of Christianity at all. The original Christianity was when Jesus was in his body. He taught a way of life almost exactly like the Toltecs. Jesus gave us immense gifts. He gave us forgiveness. Forgiveness was his way of cleaning the poison from our mind. Forgiveness is the only way to heal the roots of all the emotional poison that we have. Forgiveness is an act of self-love. Once you forgive, there will be scars there, but you will not hurt. Forgiveness is the great gift from Jesus. The whole culture in Jesus' time was placing blame. The Jewish religion was still barbarian. In the temple, they had to sacrifice animals to a bloody god. In the Bible, Moses describes how to make a sacrifice, how to dispense the blood in the tabernacle, and how to burn the sacrifice. It was fanatical. They followed the letter, not the spirit of the law. They believed in a judging God. Jesus was in conflict with this religion that preached fear of a God who is jealous and will punish you. Jesus practiced love. This is his main gift. He did not say an eye for an eye. He said, love your neighbor as yourself. It was not easy for Jesus to teach his knowledge to those who did not want to hear it, so he taught in parables. He made his listeners understand with love. When he talked, they were trance-like, and they shared the silent knowledge of unconditional love. Jesus was really a king from the dynasty of David. The Romans had put a false king in place. Those in the house of David expected a Messiah to recover the kingdom. Jesus' real father was a zealot, a rebel warrior named Judas. He tried to overthrow the Romans, but he failed and was killed. He did not know that Mary was pregnant when he died. Mary was just a teenaged girl. Those who were in the house of David expected her to bear a son who would continue the lineage. They chose a husband for her who would be a father to her child. Joseph was a priest of the temple who was a teacher. He was in his 80s. Mary married Joseph, and Jesus gained the spiritual instruction he needed when Joseph took Jesus to Egypt at a young age. The community did not expect Jesus to reject being a king. Jesus joined the Essenes. but he already had the silent knowledge and he was more liberal than the Essenes. The Essenes were waiting for the end of the world at any moment. They tried to be clean and pure to be ready for when the Master of Justice arrived. Jesus said, "I am the Master of Justice, and this is not the end of the world." The Essenes kicked Jesus and John the Baptist out of their community. Two forces worked on Jesus. One told him to become the king. The other told him to change the beliefs of his community. The Jewish people were worshiping a force in the temple that was not God. Jesus was dangerous to the Pharisees, who saw that he was very well known as the probable Messiah, but they denied it. Jesus began going in a different direction from what his followers expected. He did not choose to be king, but to profess love, forgiveness, and truth. Then his image changed, and many saw him as a prophet. He began thinking of himself as a son of God, although not the only son of God. In Israel, the ideal was monotheistic, but in other countries at the time, such as Rome, Egypt, and Greece, there was a belief in semi-gods. Caesar proclaimed himself God. Therefore, it was not weird for Jesus to proclaim himself a son of God. He said we are all God's children. He said, God is love and forgiveness rather than a God to fear. Jesus said, I am the Son of Man. You are my brothers. God is our Father. My Father doesn't want sacrifices. They had thought of God as remote. The people loved and followed him. The ideas he taught were a threat to the temple, and the temple leaders wanted him gone. Although many priests favored Jesus, they knew that with Jesus they could be free. There were many meetings in the temple. Jesus spoke of bringing heaven on earth. My kingdom is not of this world. It is a place of love where everyone is kind, he said. His apostles were excited about arriving in Jerusalem. They thought they would be victors and Jesus would proclaim himself king. The temple expected him to say this. If he did, there was no way the Pharisees would stop him. They invited Jesus to the Sanhedrin, which was the highest judicial and ecclesiastical council of the nation with 70 members. He said, No, I will not become king. Do not tempt me. He predicted the crowd would kill him. This was to be his destiny. Jesus began a new covenant between man and God. Despite all the corruption of his teaching, that covenant is still valid. The present time of the sixth son is the time of Jesus' prophecy. All events around the world are inseparable. What happened in Jerusalem happened in Teotihuacan. Jesus was also Quetzalcoatl. All avatars speak of love and forgiveness, but Jesus proved these things in action. Hope you guys enjoyed that excerpt, and I hope it provides clarity as far as how I see the Christian tradition. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Peace.
Do you believe in repenting? What if the kingdom of heaven's within you? Do you think you would enter, huh? What do you know, huh? How do you know truth from the pit of your soul, or just cause somebody told you? Do you think about what you think about? Do you see yourself in the people that you hang around? Keep quiet, let me think aloud. Listen up, wanna break it down and question your perceptions. I'ma break it down and question your perceptions. Do you ever question your perceptions? Do you ever question it? Oh yeah. What if your money was worthless? Then would you know what your worth is and reconsider living with a purpose? How would you determine what work is? Are you seeking what's easy to purchase, or is it deeper than what's on the surface? Do you question your perceptions? Ever so is real, huh? It ain't your politicians, nor your status. All of that is fiction, so it's real, huh? It ain't your entertainment, nor the industry. I heard it's filled with fake shit. And I need truth over everything. Yeah. I need truth above all else. Just I need truth over everything. Yeah, give me the truth, give me the truth, give me the truth, yeah.